What if your biggest failure is actually correcting your biggest mistake? He rushed without thinking and lost everything. Sometimes destruction is not punishment, it's redirection. The story was, one evening in a quiet corner of a small town, a young man sat on the sidewalk, completely defeated. His name was Ethan. In a rush to succeed, he invested all his savings into a mobile accessories stall. No planning, no research, just blind confidence. The result? The stall failed. His money was gone, and his confidence was broken. Frustrated, he muttered, "Everything's over. I just have bad luck. I'll never be successful." Sitting nearby was an old man, Mr. Harrison, calm, wise, and observant. He walked over slowly and said, "Son, don't decide your whole life so quickly. Your story isn't over yet." Ethan replied bitterly, "You don't understand. I've lost everything." Mr. Harrison smiled softly. "No, you've learned something. And that's why I want to tell you a story." The King's Story. Once there was a powerful king, King Adrian. His kingdom was rich and thriving. Every year the rains arrived on time, the land stayed fertile, crops grew in abundance, farmers earned well, and the entire kingdom benefited. After every harvest, huge profits were made. Markets were decorated, festivals were celebrated, everything was perfect. But slowly, this success turned into overconfidence. The king began to believe, whatever I do will always succeed. Relying completely on rainfall, without proper planning, without consulting his advisors, he ordered more and more farms to be built, even in areas that were not suitable. And as the farms increased, their maintenance started getting neglected. No proper water management, no backup system, no deep planning. Everything was running only on rainfall. At first, things still looked fine. But then, for 3 continuous years, the rains failed. Year after year, barely any rainfall. And slowly, everything began to collapse. There was no water stored, no backup system. The poorly maintained farms dried out quickly. Crops failed completely. The land cracked open. Hunger spread. Families started leaving the kingdom. Children cried from thirst. Markets turned silent. The once lively kingdom became empty. The king stood on his palace balcony, watching everything fall apart. For the first time in his life, he felt helpless. "Why is this happening to me?" he whispered. His wise friend Elias stood beside him and said, "This didn't happen to you. You caused this. You depended on luck and ignored planning." With nothing left to lose, the king finally listened. Elias said, "If you want to save this kingdom, stop depending only on rain. Create a system that survives even without it." This time, the king changed. He planned carefully, studied the land, and ordered deep digging to find underground water. The work was hard. Days passed. Nothing happened. People began losing hope again, but the king didn't stop. "Keep digging," he said. And then, one day, the soil turned wet. Workers dug deeper until suddenly a powerful underground water spring burst out. Fresh, endless water. A source that was always there, but never used, because no one had planned properly before. With proper water management and planning, the farms slowly recovered. Fields turned green again. People returned. The kingdom came back to life, but this time, stronger, wiser, built on planning, not overconfidence. Elias smiled and said, "Failure didn't destroy your kingdom. It taught you how to run it the right way." Mr. Harrison looked at Ethan and said softly, "Just like that king, you didn't fail because of bad luck. You failed because you rushed and didn't plan. This failure is not your end. It's your lesson." Ethan sat quietly. For the first time, he wasn't angry. He understood. Mr. Harrison placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "So next time, don't depend on luck. Plan better, build stronger, and remember, when life breaks you, it is actually building you into someone wiser." So tell me, have you ever depended on luck instead of planning and faced failure? What did that moment teach you? And honestly, how did you like this story? Was it inspiring, relatable, or eye-opening? Comment me. I'd love to hear your thoughts.